And if you need to, just cut yourself off a block of this instead of having the whole thing in your hand. It'll make it a little easier to shred. So I have my block of white cheddar, and as you can see, it comes in the middle. I'm going to give it a nice grate. Now we're not going to put a whole lot of cheese in this, just enough to have that creaminess and have that stringy cheese in there. It's a real nice complement to the creamy potatoes. You could also add a little mascarpone or a little sour cream to them. And if you want to sneak a bite, that's cool too. You know what I mean? Roman? Okay. Now, the cheese is not going to go in right away. Before you put the cheese in, you got to get this milk and this butter working with these potatoes. Now, if you would have done this when this was cold, if you let this cool and then tried to do this, your potatoes would come out starchy, gluteny, and would not be good. Would not be good eats. Go ahead and get a shot of that. You can see that working. See how that's working up? It's getting nice and whippy, and creamy. You don't want to go too far with it. You want chunks. These are smashed potatoes. They're not mashed potatoes. Okay. Then your cheese goes in. Now you shredded it right off the block, so it's going to stick together. So you want to do it in little portions, so that you don't just have a big glob of cheese in your potatoes. Get as much of it as you can in there. It's going to stick to the plate a little bit. That's all right. And now this is the key part. If you go too far with this, you're not going to be able to notice the cheese. You just want to stir once, and then in the other direction again, and the other direction again. And that's it. Walk away. That's it. Okay? Walk away. Put these aside. Take your whisk out. And this is my favorite part. You take your whisk out. Here, Tamara, try that. What do you think? Oh. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and set a plate over these. I want them to stay hot. You could use tin foil. Now these green beans, they're not going to be going too long. We want to just blanch them. And if you don't know what blanch means, it basically means to boil, except for a very short amount of time at a very high boil. That's what a blanch is. So you want to get hot water as hot as possible on this pan. All right, so our giblets are going. Our green beans are sitting here waiting to be dropped in their vat. They're going to get nice and happy. And when the green beans are done cooking, we're going to go ahead and toss them in some butter and a little bit of salt and pepper. Real nice and simple cooking. I don't like anything too fancy. And then I'm going to show you how to plate this up nice and gourmet so that it looks like it came from a restaurant. Because if you're going to put all your time and effort into it, and you want to serve that to your folks, you want to make sure that it's going to look very appetizing. Let's check out our breasts. Not quite done yet, but as you can see, they're coming along nice golden brown. You're going to pop those back in. We covered them loosely with some foil, and key word is loosely. Now, these giblets are going to go until the very last minute because we want to get as much essence out of these as possible. All that blood, those livers. Now, you don't want to leave the livers in too long, though. Once those livers start to get tender, you want to take them out. Now we got our livers. Now, you can do a lot of things with these, all right? It's just like chicken livers. You can make pate out of them. You don't want to waste them, obviously. Now, me personally, I'm just going to eat these just like they are. Dip them in some gravy. It's going to be a little snack tomorrow. But you can put them in a food processor with some herbs, spices, and maybe a mayonnaise or a dressing or vinegar, and you can make a pate out of them and serve them at your Christmas dinner with crackers as sort of an appetizer or lead-up to the meal. And that's always good. So the next time we're going to see you folks is after I smoke a bowl and come back in here. And hopefully I won't get too lazy that I'll let everything burn. And we'll come back in here when everything's done, and I'll show you how to tighten up that gravy and put it together. And then we're going to plate the food, and we're going to fucking feast.
Dude, Steve, you have to finish the show.
Totally not feeling it right now. Can you just do it?
It's not looking good.
Well, alright. Alright. Alright, let's go. Here we go. Now, we're going to tighten up our gravy, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see in this pan right here, this is our juices that we cooked out of our giblets. To make a roux, you want to put some butter in your pan, melt it down, just enough to, get enough in there. And you want to add your flour nice and slowly, because if you add too much flour, it'll clump up and you throw it in the trash. So just add your flour into that butter. Okay. Mix it around. You want to incorporate it into the butter, and you want it to start to kind of bubble. You want to start adding some of your stock to it, just to break it up a little bit. And then add all your stock. Get your whisk out. Now, I always like to think that pepper is one of the most important things for a gravy. It doesn't matter what kind of gravy it is. Pour that pepper in there. Nice good amount. A little bit of salt. Okay, now you have to bring this to a boil. If you do not bring it to a boil, it will not set because your flour needs to be activated by high heat. Take a shot of that gravy. That's a masterpiece, all right? You pour this over your turkey and your mashed potatoes and your stuffing or whatever you got. It sets it off. Remember, we put our potatoes under the plate earlier. You can look at them now. They're still nice and hot. The steam's coming off of them. Our gravy has come up to a boil. And at this point, turn it off, walk away. You can see everything is really messy. My stove's messy. My counter's messy. I could care less. Because all that matters is what's on the plate. And you can clean this shit up later. That's the way I'd like to look at it. You want to make sure that it looks appetizing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a little plating tutorial. The first thing I want to put on the plate is going to be the mashed potatoes. Okay, so the first thing I want to put on here, I got my special sauce in the microwave, is mashed potatoes. And you want to make sure you wash your hands because you got to touch the food to make this look pretty. Alright? So I want to put my potatoes kind of, left center from where I am. Just kind of pile them in a neat tower like that. Okay. And then I'm going to take some green beans and I'm just going to kind of lean them on the potatoes, just like that. Okay, and I have my turkey over here. And with this turkey, you want to cut against the grain. Okay, so basically you want to turn that turkey around and you want to start giving that a good slice. And make sure you let this rest for a good 10 to 15 minutes before you start cutting into it, or all the juices will run out of it. And you will have very dry turkey breast. Okay, so now that we've cut our meat, we're going to bring it over to the plate. Alright? And we want to arrange this. And if the skin comes off, just kind of set it back on there because that looks good to have the skin on there. We like to make cranberry sauce the old-fashioned way with, you know, fresh cranberries and all that good stuff. But today, I've opted for the canned variety, which you can easily make taste very, very good just by putting it in the microwave and adding a few things to it, like lemon zest, stuff like that. Now, we're going to get a little fancy here, folks. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop that down, and then we're going to do a little streak, like that. Okay, just around the edge. All right? And then we're going to do just a few drops, like that. Just want to be kind of artistic with it. You know what I mean? And then streak that. And then a little bit on the turkey. Shot of this. What you have is go over here in the light. What you have is an artistically plated Christmas turkey dinner with cheddar mashed potatoes, green beans, cranberry sauce, pan gravy, and roasted boneless turkey breast. Hi, I really hope you enjoyed watching my cooking show. I hope you got really high while you watched it. I hope you're really hungry now with the munchies. I really think that I'm confident in the fact that I've showed you everything you need to know to go wherever you cook, put some turkey in the oven, throw some beans on the stove, and mash up some potatoes and make a complete meal for yourself and your loved ones. Get high, stay cool, go fuck yourself.